We're in the belly here of the sports park on Exeter Uni campus, and here they are.
Poppy Leitch, the captain and the first Centurion of Exeter Chiefs women. Alex Tessier, Canadian and also obviously Exeter Chiefs player.
First player to 100 caps.
I just makes me feel awkward.
What kind of captain is she?
I could learn a lot from Poppy. She definitely leads by example.
Outside of all of this, Alex, she also does nails, but only if you're nominated for World Rugby Player of the Year.
I should have done it live. I wear a head torch. To us, you're World Player of the Year. Been working hard to chip away at Tess.
I tried it with Scazzy. Sometimes they're just a bit like, ugh. Let's welcome Eva Stirrett and Lilly Plowman.
God, Poppy up there. We do whatever she tells us to.
Yeah.
It sounds awful.
I think the girls have a massive amount of respect for her.
This player-coach relationship is very unique. She understands what it means to be a uni student. We also enjoy watching her play. It does emphasize that connection.
Why are you judging my socks, Alex?
I'm not judging, I'm just very curious.
The kitty cat socks.
Oh.
This week, The Good, the Scouts and Rugby in partnership with Vodafone has made a visit to the University of Exeter, where it's a bit misty. And we're at training here. The BUCS Super Rugby women's team from Exeter Uni is coached by Poppy Leitch. Outside of coaching this team, she's also the captain and the first Centurion of Exeter Chiefs women. You know and love her probably from the PWR performances she's been putting in. And we're here to try and figure out how she balances everything. Of course, this is part of our and Vodafone's EmpowHER program. We've got some mentees out on this pitch, some mentors around. We're going to be speaking to all of them. Alex Tessier, a Canadian and also obviously Exeter Chiefs player, is on the pitch somewhere here. We'll catch up with her as well. And I'm even wearing my rugby boots. Okay, maybe not mine, but I'm wearing rugby boots, okay?
We're in the belly here of the sports park on Exeter Uni campus, surrounded by a lot of Exeter Uni merch. It's almost like open day. You know, when the uni tries to convince you that this is the place to study, loads of branding and pictures of people looking very happy doing sport. And I am joined by Poppy and Alex. I said that they were going to join me, and here they are. It's great to have both of you on The Good, the Scouts and Rugby. Welcome.
Thank you.
You have to hold the microphone to your face.
Hello, thank you.
How has it been having us here today, Poppy? Were you a little nervous about us filming your training session? You are very clear in how you communicate. It's very impressive.
I was more concerned that there was a heavy mist over the whole of Exeter today and that you guys wouldn't actually be able to film anything. And it didn't really raise anyway. But no, wasn't too nervous. The girls generally crack on anyway with lots of distractions. So hopefully you got some good content.
Poppy, you wear so many hats. Outside of what people know you as the Exeter Chiefs women captain and playing for Exeter Chiefs in the PWR, you lead the program here. So you guys have been doing really well this season, 36 points, top of the table at the moment. Talk to me about your job here and what it entails.
I think probably from when I got the job 5 years ago or so to now, it's very different. I think when I took the job, I thought it would be kind of 80% coaching, 20% kind of like admin, delivery. But actually, I feel like it's probably ended up being the reverse of that. So the majority of the program is making sure the players feel that they're supported, that they understand what's expected of them, what support they can get from us, making sure they come away with a good degree. And then there's like a tiny bit of coaching in there. So I feel like I'm like almost like a pastoral support for them most of the time, which is fine. But I do kind of enjoy that coaching aspect of it as well. So it's been my normal life now for the last 5 years doing both. So it kind of just feels second nature to be here for most of the day and then finish off my day at Sandy Park. But I feel very lucky to have my job and to work with so many amazing players. So, you know, I kind of coach around 110 this year, but probably work quite closely with about 50 of those. And there's not one of them in there that I don't find I get a huge amount of joy from working with. So I feel like I'm pretty much the lucky one in the situation.
And then, Alex, you took a group over to the one side and did a bit of coaching there. How you are here 1 day a week, right?
Yeah, usually, 1 to 2. So like this week I was there, I helped out for some kicking. But yeah, usually I come up on the Friday morning for one session and usually I have the backs with me. So yeah.
Now, Poppy, what does it look like? So you guys have matches on Wednesdays, the uni.
Yeah.
the BUCS Super.
BUCS on Wednesday, BUCS Super Rugby on Wednesday.
Yes.
And then we have another team that plays at the weekends. So we have like 3 teams across the program. 2 of our teams are like performance-based teams. So as you kind of already mentioned, one of those is in the BUCS Super Rugby League, which at the moment we're sitting top of, which is a good place to be at this point in the season. And then our second team actually compete in the championship too. It was a decision about 3 years ago to enter a side into the kind of community-based leagues because I didn't feel that we had enough playing opportunities for our performance-based players. So they play at weekends. It's definitely a lot more work than I maybe anticipated it to be. And I think this is probably the first year that we've been genuinely challenged in that league. But I think that the benefits outweigh the challenge that it brings. So ultimately everyone that's in our kind of performance group, so that the top 50 players all get to play on a weekly basis. Term 1 is very much BUCS kind of driven, and then term 2 is more championship driven. So it's kind of a nice way of working through the year. So my side have a game this weekend against Clumpton, which I'm looking forward to, named a good, strong team. And that's kind of made up of Exeter Chiefs and Exeter University players. So it's quite niche, that side. And I think it's massively benefited our programme. I think we're probably the only team within the BUCS League that have a specific setup like that. It's definitely a lot more work, so I maybe regret it on that end.
Yeah. This is what I'm really interested in.
Yeah.
So, but how? Because you don't also play for Exeter Chiefs. You're also the captain there. So now, talk me through, what does your week look like?
So on a Monday, we train with Chiefs at the uni, which is a godsend for me because I'm already on campus. So I can kind of come in and out of my office as I wish. I check in on the girls in the gym sometimes. And like, I'm very fortunate that players like Clara Nielsen, who plays at Chiefs as well, she helps out with my hookers on a Monday. So there's a bit of crossover, which I think is quite good for the uni girls to see the Chiefs girls in and around their environment. So I'm with the Chiefs until about 1, 2. Then I'm with the uni and probably get home at like 9 on a Monday. And then on a Tuesday, the uni girls are kind of busy in the morning with training and gym. And I'll kind of get away from uni and go straight to Sandy Park. And as Tess will probably know very well, our days at Sandy Park are very long. So we kind of probably finish at the club at like 10 p.m. And then BUCS on a Wednesday, so BUCS game. So for example, I might drive up to Durham ready for a game on a Wednesday, or fly to Edinburgh, which I had to fly in the morning because Susie wouldn't let me fly in the evening, which was fine. I forgave her for that. And then on Thursday, coaches know it's like review, admin, players who maybe feel that the game on Wednesday didn't go their way, need to have a debrief, need to have a check-in. Train on Thursday evening for Chiefs, finish again at about 10 p.m. And then Friday morning, lovely Tess comes and helps me coach in the morning at uni, followed by admin and meetings. And then I coach in the evening my side that plays at weekends. And then I have Chiefs on the weekends. So it's quite a lot. So like some games it would be like, there was this awful game. It was the first game of the year for our side that plays at the weekend. And we played Clumpton. We did an early kickoff so that I could make my game against Ealing, which was the same day. And then one of the loveliest players we actually have within the program, called Emma, broke her leg. And I was like, okay, so we had to get the splints out, then we had to blow the splints up, then we had to put her on a stretcher. And I was like carrying her off the pitch, and then was like, I actually need to leave because I'm supposed to be at Sandy Park in like 7 minutes to play. So then I dropped her in the medical room and left her with Abby Middlebrook, who helps run the side. She's a kind of aspiring coach, but she also is at the uni as well. It's kind of part of her scholarship. And then went and played, and then came back and went and saw Emma in the hospital. And that was just like an average Sunday.
No,
but that was
Poppy.
a ridiculous day. But it's not always that busy. You get used to it. It's not that bad.
This is
it's quite bad. It's
unreal.
not, yeah, it is a bit. Some weeks are worse. Some weeks aren't so bad. This week, busy.
Busy.
Last week, fine.
Okay.
You know? So it just depends.
What did you study? So when you came here to Exeter, is this what you had in mind for
No.
your future?
No. So I came and studied sports science, and that's when Jo Yapp was my coach, obviously at the Wallaroos now. And like she was like people saw her as like Jesus of Exeter Uni. Like everyone was
Wow.
obsessed with her.
Well, that's a byline.
Yeah. So like when she was like, oh, I'm leaving and I think you should like go for the job, I was a bit like, look, Jo, like we're different people here, you know. Not many people like me, a lot of people like you, like, you know, maybe not. And she was like, okay, like that's fine. And then last minute I kind of thought, well, like maybe I should do it. I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. And then I applied and then I got the job. But my first year I was actually at Bristol Bears and here. So that was worse.
No.
Yeah, that was worse. And then Bristol and me kind of like, cut ties.
How long is the drive to Bristol from here?
It was like an hour and 15 minutes.
Depending on how late you are.
Yeah, there was like 15 of us that used to do that commute every week on a Thursday and a Tuesday to play. But doing that with the job was like definitely ridiculous. So when Chiefs kind of came about, it was like, well, maybe I could make something of this. So I then kind of just have continued on from that point. So yeah, I think I fell into the job really. And then Chiefs happened and now it's like 5 years later, you kind of think, oh, I'm still doing like 2 jobs in 1 week. So
that's an incredible juggling act. Alex, do you know whether she sleeps? Have you any insight on, is she on coffee the whole time? What's the secret
Definitely
here?
on coffee. Not sure if she sleeps, but I hope she does because I don't know. Somehow she managed to perform on the weekend, and she's probably the hardest worker at trainings every single day at Chiefs. So yeah, it's like quite incredible.
Do people sometimes whine and nag about stuff, and then you kind of look to her and go, actually, we should probably...
No one whines ever really at Chiefs.
Well, no, we don't whine. We think about it, and then we see Poppy, like, sometimes we engage in kick battles, and then when you see Poppy's the first one at the bottom, like, how? I'm like, I shouldn't be probably jogging here. I should be probably like with her back there. So.
Right up there.
Yeah.
Amazing. So now your BUCS Super Rugby performance so far, when last did you guys win the league?
Oh, when I was here. We last won the league. Yeah. So when I left, or when I got the job here, we just won back-to-back. And then we got relegated.
Jo.
Yeah, with Jo.
Yeah.
Well done, Jo. And then I got the job, we got relegated, and I was like, great start.
Woo!
Yeah. It was an odd time really because a big cohort of people left when I left. We'd had pretty much the same team for the last 2 years. We won at Twickenham. We beat Hartbury in what was my 3rd year, and then we beat Durham in my 4th year. And then everybody left. And then the National League got introduced. So back then it was Northern and Southern.
Yeah.
Which was much easier, really. We knew who we could beat in the Southern League, and the Northern League wasn't as strong as ours. So we kind of knew that we'd always have a chance of kind of getting to knockouts. And then it was actually a really, really bad first year of my job, mainly because I was so bad at it. I really didn't know what I was doing at all. Like, and that's not to the uni, but like no one really helps you. They just kind of think you're going to figure it out. And because I think Jo had done so well, they just assumed that the club would carry on functioning. So we got relegated in my first year coaching, and then COVID hit. So it was a bit of an odd 2 years. Oh. Yeah, Loughborough smashed us and relegated us, and it was, not ideal. So when we got promoted back, I think it was probably the first time I felt like I really knew what I was doing in my job. And then every year you learn a lot more because it's ever like that. But yeah, it was definitely an odd transition. Literally like 70 people graduated the year I left. It was like mass exodus. So I'm trying to make sure that no matter what happens, like whenever I do leave the job eventually, because I will probably have to go at some point, is that like
she says resentfully
that the club isn't like in the same position that it was then, that it can carry on flourishing. So the club size has got much bigger, the infrastructure is much better, we have more coaches helping out, and I think ultimately that I want to try and run a program where the girls feel like it's their program. It's not my job, it's not my program, it's for them. So it's not player led at all, but there's a lot of feedback from players all the time about what they feel they need, and it's trying to make sure that if I exited or if I was off sick for a week, which I hopefully would never happen, that they can carry on running the program and continue to build and flourish as they are. So yeah, hopefully we won't get relegated again. Hopefully not.
So here at the uni, you report to the uni, and then at Exeter, you report to Susie. Do they speak to one another? Do they know? Do they share? Is there understanding, flexibility?
Yeah. The programs definitely run to allow the other program to run, if you know what I mean. They kind of run in conjunction.
Because at other unis, it's a lot more integrated, like Sean Lynn's across a lot of what happens at Gloucester Hartbury.
Yeah, and I think that's probably something that we need to figure out from a Chiefs and an Exeter perspective. Not because I think there's no desire for it to be like that, but I think we've got me pretty much running the whole program here on my own, which is too much anyway. And then you've got Susie pretty much doing the same at Chiefs. So it feels like we just need to continue building like a staffing team that can support across both programs, which is, I think we're moving in the right direction. Like Steve Salvin, our forwards defence coach at Chiefs, helps me out here from a coaching delivery point of view. And again, it's kind of closing the gap between Chiefs and Exeter Uni. But Susie knows how the program's run. She knows I think she has faith in the way that I'm going to run it that's going to allow her to have players in time when they're ready to step up into that environment.
Yeah, she must really kind of be banking on you doing a good job here.
Yeah, I would say that she is banking on that. And I think I am nearly doing a good enough job. I think we've got a lot of really good players. No, we don't have loads and loads of players that are at Chiefs at the moment because with this condensed season in the PWR, like there's not really the right time for uni players to drop in and out. In previous seasons, there is opportunity for that. When you've got bye weeks, we kind of push the uni girls into the Chiefs environment so they can get a bit of exposure. But this year, it's not been so easy. The cup run, obviously, kind of moving away and having the up series was kind of a small window for us to do that. So I think this year kind of sits outside of the norm. But I do think it's something that myself and Susie do talk at length about is how to make the programs feel really connected because they are, but trying to make it maybe feel more integrated. But when you're on 2 different campuses, you know, that in itself, Sandy Park and here, it's not easy to be so integrated, which is why that Monday for me feels, it's important for us as a uni program to feel Chiefs is in our space as well. But maybe trying to have one day a week where the uni girls can be at Chiefs would be great.
Yes.
But it's all work in progress. It's just one battle at a time, which I think most people in the PWR or any women's rugby setting know that you kind of have to look up at the challenges you've got ahead and pick which is the one that I'm going to get return from now. And in 3 years' time, that's the next one I'm going for. Or in 3 months' time, that's the next one I'm going for. So lots of work to still be done. But I definitely feel united with Chiefs, of course. Like, you know, I know that I get a lot of support from the players. Like Tess doesn't have to come and help me, but she does because I hope she likes working with the uni girls, and that she gets something from a coaching perspective. But I definitely feel we're very connected and united.
Why do you do it? What do you mean? Like you just do it because you like to do it?
Yeah, I generally like to do it. I thought like when Poppy invited me, I was like, yeah, why not? Like I think this adds to my week, but it adds positively because, you know, like I'm helping girls grow in their role, or like and then that's as if like I could share my own experience to them and then they could learn a little bit, and that's a win for me. So yeah, I guess I like to share my I guess my knowledge on the field or things that they need support with. So like I do it because I enjoyed rugby and I enjoy like connecting with Poppy and the girls. Yeah,
that's really impressive.
They like Tess a lot as well, which helps. They asked Tess to come back. She helped. You actually covered a session for me, didn't you?
Yeah.
Because a coach that we did have come back and forth wasn't able to help out. So I was like, oh, Tess, like, please can you help me out as a one-off? And then the girls were like, we don't want her to go. Can she carry on coming back? So I did have to beg you. Not beg you. I didn't have to beg you, but I pleaded, please, can you come back?
Please,
the girls really like you and you're better at coaching kicking than I'm ever going to be. So that helps.
That's always useful. So when did you come over to Exeter Chiefs, Alex?
So I came last year, so I'm nearly here for 2 years. So like last year was my first season in the PWR, and so I came from Canada, I guess, from Quebec, so the French province. So that's why French is my first language. And yeah, I came to the PWR because obviously it is, I think, one of the best, or it is the best league in the world right now. And I wanted to like kind of challenge myself, and then experienced like the English rugby and all that. So yeah,
you could have probably gone anywhere. I mean, they told Ilona that Bristol was a 40-minute train ride from London, which is how she ended up there. Why Exeter?
Why Exeter? That's a good question. Well, firstly, I'm glad I'm not in London, so that's a win.
Oh, so
for
you
me.
didn't want to be within?
No.
Yeah.
No. So like, I really landed on a place where like I think I could find myself having a good life rugby balance kind of thing. So like, I think you're near like a lot of outdoor stuff to do, and the beach, the ocean and stuff. But like, I came to Exeter because I think they were like a recent club that have been like growing so much, and for me that was exciting that like they improve every year. And then obviously we are chasing a title, so that for me excited me. And then a little bit of the style they play and stuff, I was interested, and that's why I came to Exeter.
I know that a lot of people who follow the women's game have joined us have pulled up a chair in the recent past. Exeter Chiefs was only accepted into what was then the Premier 15s in 2021, ahead of the 2021 season. And in 5 years, you got into the final in the second year in the Prem, been to 2 finals and 1 semi-final in 5 years. That's a very hot run. I mean, performance in terms of for you, Poppy, when you left Bristol and they started up Exeter Chiefs here, and you've now built this amazing position with this team, this must be the dream come true for you, because it allows for you to play in a really high performance environment, balance the job of coaching that you seem to absolutely be loving, and building a second career while you're still busy with this one, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think the first year, Susie did have to like really convince me to come and join, which I did in the end, because I kind of realised I was missing not playing. And again, it like fell in that awkward COVID time. So I remember the first game I actually played against Bristol at Sandy Park, and there was like no one in the stands, and it was really quiet.
Wait, rewind. Why did she have to convince you?
Well, like after Bristol, I was kind of like, oh, I think I'm done playing. I don't know if I'd like it anymore. I think it was just a typical, I was playing uni and Prem rugby then pretty much for the 4 years that I did my degree. So I played like a crazy amount of rugby then. And I think I probably just thought like I've hit my tolerance. I don't know. And I think I just kind of thought I'm not going to get any better. Like that's that. And then it was an odd timing really. Like Bristol kind of like, yeah, like maybe it's time for you to go. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to head out. And then Susie was like, oh, you should come to Chiefs. And I was like, well, no, I don't want to play. And I remember she was actually sat in my office, like it must have been a couple of months before the Prem started. And she was like, I'm going to tell you everyone I've signed, like, and that's going to convince you. And I was like, okay, like go for it. And she was like, Linda van der Velden. And I was like, don't know who that is. She was like, Kate Zachery. I was like, don't know who that is. And like, that sounds awful because obviously now they're like,
Poppy, that's mean.
Awful. But it was like, it was weird because
that's rude. She's really trying.
I know, she was really trying. But like Linda obviously had come from the Netherlands. I didn't know who Linda was. I mean, when
Dutch
I first
rugby?
met Linda,
Yeah.
When I first met Linda, I was like, oh my God, who are you? She's so massive and just like gorgeous as well. Like I was like, how can you be that big and be that gorgeous? And then I know that's weird, but she is. Like, I remember saying that, I was like, you're huge and so pretty. And she was like, who are you? I was like, I'm Poppy. And obviously like Kate is a big name, and like I feel very honored to have played with Kate for such a long time. But like no one really knew about like the USA Eagles then. I know that sounds awful, but the Prem was so English that like I only knew the English crew. Like I'd played, with Marley Packer, like Poppy Cleal, players like Sarah Hunter, who had been at Bristol for such a long time. So she was like name dropping these people, and I just was like, I just don't know who you talk about.
Yeah.
And I was probably a bit rude and was a bit like, stuff you, I don't want to do it. Like I just really didn't enjoy playing at that point in time. And then I watched them play against Gloucester in their first ever game and was a bit like, why am I being an idiot? I should just go and play and see if she'll have me back. I actually remember texting her, begging her, being like, please, will you still contract me? And she was like, you have to come to training and then we'll see. And I was like, oh God. Ooh. And then I did come to training, then I got to play. And it was kind of ironic that my first game was against Bristol, because it felt a bit bittersweet that it was like, the last club I'd played for, probably didn't leave on the best note there, but, felt like it was like the right thing for me to do for them and for me. So yeah, and then I don't even remember what your question was, sorry, but what was your question again?
Why did she have to convince you to keep playing rugby?
Yeah, and now she doesn't have to convince me, obviously, but definitely at the time I was like so set on not playing, which is a shame because I don't think any player should get to a point where they like, actively want to stop. I was only 21 as well, but I'm glad I carried on playing, and now I'm much older and played a lot more rugby, so.
Why do you enjoy playing now?
Oh, that's a good question. I feel like my identity with playing has changed. I think my job at the uni has given me maybe a different outlook on what rugby should be for me. So, getting to coach players like Neve Orchard, who's at Chiefs as well. She arrived from Hartbury as a centre. She's definitely not a centre, like by any stretch. She's an excellent back row player. And I feel like kind of what actually makes me feel like my reason why for playing is watching Neve come through the uni program, do really well, and now actually having like a genuine friendship with Neve and feeling like I've kind of been able to watch her grow into what she is now, and I think she'll be a fantastic player. So I think that's like why I enjoy playing, is because I can play then alongside the people that I feel like I can coach now. So it's a bit of a different outlook on it. I still really enjoy it, but I enjoy it in a different way, I think, now.
Because you're not playing for yourself so much.
No, I don't think so. I don't think anymore. Like if someone said to me like, what's your reason why? It wouldn't be like driven about myself. It would be about the girls I get to coach, and hopefully like one day watching them play for Chiefs, or not even play for Chiefs, just watching them continue to play and progressing as a player, and you know, I have a lot of really good friends who I've coached at the uni, maybe for small periods of time or quite long periods of time. And I feel like they're really why I enjoy it now, not for myself, really.
Does that check out Alex? Like, what kind of captain is she?
Oh, God, don't ask.
She's amazing to watch, and I'm so thankful that like I came to Chiefs, because I think I could learn a lot from Poppy. Like, she's a very like well-spoken, as you could see, you know, she knows what to say, when to say it, and then she definitely leads by example, you know, like she's not the loudest, but she's also not the quietest. But I really truly believe that like she knows what she's talking about. So like I think the players buy into this. I personally buy into this because she knows the rugby. She knows the game. And then she grinds week in, week out, like I said earlier. So she leads by example and then knows what to say, when to say it.
Work ethic.
Yeah.
First ever Centurion for Exeter women. Yeah. First player to 100 caps. For a club that's 5 years old. Why are you looking so uncomfortable at that? Why are you pulling that face?
Awkward. I don't know.
Why do you look like you want to run away now?
I don't know. It just feels a bit like, I don't know. I think what actually felt more poignant about the 100 game was that, like, obviously we had a tough result against Gloucester, but I think like what it made me think about is like, okay, in 100 games, like, have you set out what you wanted to do, which was to try and, I mean, I was only speaking to Tess about this in the office earlier about, you know, building a club that people are addicted to being at. I think, you know, probably about 3 years ago when I think it was my second season at Chiefs, I genuinely felt like addicted to being at Sandy Park. Like, it would be 10 p.m. and you'd be thinking like, I've got to be up at work tomorrow at 6, but I don't want to miss out on everyone chatting in the food room about whatever it might be, nothing serious, you know, just chit-chattering away. And I think it's like trying to make sure that the program continues to be addictive for people. So like I thought on that 100 game, not about the result, but I thought like, okay, in 100 games, like how much have you been able to influence in terms of making the program as good as it possibly can be? And I think it made me just realize like, I'm not done yet. I'm not there yet. I haven't contributed what I want to yet. And that's not to say it's about me, but about like the impact that you can have on a program or impact you can have on the people around you. So in some sense, it's never obviously glad you lose because it's not that, but like, I'm kind of glad the game was challenging because I think it just resonated with me that I'm like, okay, 100 games is like, you know, a big moment and it's a big history moment, but like actually in the grand scheme of things, it's quite insignificant in the impact you can have in a program and a club. So it kind of felt like the 100 games, I was a bit like, oh, I don't want to, like that makes me feel a bit awkward. It's more like, okay, so you've hit 100 games, you've done X, Y, and Z, like what's the next thing that you're going to do to help make things better or to support people like, you know, newcomers coming in, you know, the two that you'll speak to in a bit, I think they could be in a Chiefs program soon. So what can you do between now and then to make sure that actually happens? That was what I think is more important. The 100 game bit just made me feel a bit like icky, just because, I don't know, maybe it's, I don't know, just awkward, but it's fine.
And then outside of all of this, Alex, she also does nails every now and again. Like, but only if you're nominated for World Rugby Player of the Year. Only
Sure.
then. Is that when you crack open your little nail kit?
No, she did.
Tess,
She did
always.
exceptionally, but like because this year, like she was not like open. Like so last year, I think like every other week she was like, "Girls, if you want nails done, like you come Wednesday between that time and I'll do it." So yeah, she did that last year a lot. But this year, I don't know. She took a little break, maybe because she has so much going on, I guess, or maybe she needed a bit of sleep. But yeah, so exceptionally, I guess she did my nails before the gala thing. In Monaco, so yeah.
It was an honor to do Tess's nails. I did say to her, I was like, I will do them for you, but if you get the trophy, you have to like hold it out for the nails to be seen.
Yeah.
Of course, I have to promote her work.
Yeah,
It was
of
nice work.
Yeah, and tag and credit.
tag
Of course.
everything.
Yeah. What's it called? Poppy's Nail Studio?
It's called Polish Nails because it's like a play on, because I've got Polish heritage, which I joke about all the time. When I then got dropped from England, obviously that was like a decade ago, but I was like, it's because, you know, I'm Polish. I'm not actually English. Like, no one realizes. Like, people joke, like Poppy at EQP, and I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm Polish. You know, like, it's just a joke in the club.
So you're not
really.
EQP?
I am. I'm actually really like tiny bit Polish as well. But I always like joke on that I'm Polish. It's like a running joke. It's not even very funny. But
Poland calls her up next
yeah,
thing.
I'm always like, oh, the Polish coaches just can't get through to me at the moment. But, and then obviously like nail polish. So it's Polish nails. But I mean, I don't do it for any money, just to be clear. Like it's like $5
in
and
case
I buy another
HMRC.
colour. In case anyone thinks I'm making money behind the salary cap, it's not for that reason. But no, Taz Bricknell, who also is at Chiefs, she recently lost her job, which is obviously rubbish. And she was like, look, I do nails. Like, would you mind if I took your clients? And I was like, look, you know, Taz, you take them. And then Tess, to be fair, was like, for a £5, will you do my nails? I was like, I'll do them for free because you're World Player of the Year. So I'm not great, but I've got a lot of colours. And I do, it's proper gel, you know, like it's the real stuff.
Oh, wow, not just polish.
I know.
Not just polish.
Not just polish. It's gel, it should be gel polish nails, shouldn't it? But
Oh, wow.
yeah, I'm doing Linda's tonight, actually, on that note.
On that note,
Yeah, 8 p.m. she's coming over.
we should have done this.
I know, I should have done it live. I wear a head torch and that might not work with the lighting setting. Yeah, but
You have a head torch.
yeah, I have to.
Oh, wow.
Because I can't see otherwise. Normally, because it's always really late at night when people come over and I'm like half asleep and have my head torch on. I've got like the full set, like 100 colours. Yeah. I love it. It's great.
She actually matched my toes. That was a panic because I usually don't put nail polish on my nails, but yeah. So
she showed me her toes and I was like, I've got a colour right for you. It was like called like peony or something. I don't know what it was.
Peony?
Maybe that sounds better. That sounds more right.
Is that right? I'm also on my training wheels here with English, so I don't know.
No, we'll go with that.
Is it peony? Producer Shira says she doesn't know. Is it peony? Oh,
I
look
was
at me.
right.
I learned something today.
So
you were
did I.
right. I should never correct anyone about speaking English.
Yeah.
Genuinely, I should just shut up. Let's go back. Let's go back to the rugby. So, having a World Rugby Player of the Year nominated player in your team, how much of a flex is that?
Oh, massive. I remember when Tess first turned up, I actually knew of Tess beforehand because like long time ago, I played against Canada and I knew Tess. When we did the preview, like we talked a lot about her. So when Susie was analysed her, the ginger girl, obviously in a nice way. The ginger girl with the lovely hair. And so I did know of Alex then, or Tessie as we call her. But so when Susie's like, I've signed her, I was like, wait, not Alex Tessier, the one from Canada. And she was like, yeah.
Not who dat.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like the moment you arrived, like it felt like right that you were at the club, you know, like I feel like I've, you know, been working hard to chip away at Tess so that she likes me, you know, like for ages.
Is she hard to win over? Does she keep her cards close?
No, you just, for the first couple of months, she was very like kept herself to herself. And I was a bit like, I'm going to go over the top.
But introverts they're weird like that.
Yeah, so I went like extrovert on her to try and warm her out. Forced it essentially upon her.
Did it help? Is it good? Is that a smart approach?
I'm not sure if it helped, but I guess it worked.
It definitely worked.
I tried it with Scazzy. I don't know. It's like touch and go. Sometimes they're just a bit like,
yeah, that still happens now too. Yeah.
Not ready for a hug.
Like, whoa.
Yeah, but when the nomination came through, like I personally wasn't surprised by it at all. Like I think you know that I think you're a world-class player. And the way that Tess sees the game is really unique, and I think it's what we needed at the club at that time. I think the challenging piece is that Tess was playing 10 for us last year, and I think it probably limited what Tess was able to do and the way that you want to play. Whereas I feel like this year we've already started to kind of figure out maybe it's fullback, maybe it's 13, maybe it's 12. Like we only talked on the way up from getting coffee about Tess being able to kind of slot in anywhere and you enjoying the fact that you can do that and that allows you to be in space. But I mean, to us, you're World Player of the Year, of course.
Of course.
But it didn't shock me at all. And, you know, I feel very lucky that I get to coach with you, but also that I'm trying to learn about how Tess sees the game and implement that into the way that I see the game. So, which is why when she said about helping me out at the uni, I was like, actually, do you know what? The girls need a different voice. They need somebody that sees the game differently to how I see it, because that's the only way they're going to develop and grow. So
you said she sees the game uniquely. Do you agree with that? Do you feel like you have a unique perspective on the game, Alex?
I guess I do.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I feel like what I learned from English, like the English rugby or Chiefs, you know, it's a bit more structure, I guess. But I like the structure of it. But I also like to, you know, it depends. You know, it's never
a bit of flair.
Yeah, a bit of flair, I guess. And it's never like, I don't know. I guess I grew up like learning rugby where it's never black or white. Like it might be grey. So I guess maybe that's what makes me unique. You know, because I think there's many solutions to the rugby game, and I guess this is how I try to bring to the team, because I think sometimes we need to like not loosen up a little bit, but
yes,
you know, like have a little bit of fun and then, you know, like be unpredictable, because when you match, like when you face good teams and then they know what you're doing because they've played the same way, or like they're very structured, and like you get found out. And so like that's why I try to bring the Chiefs to be a bit more unpredictable. You know, with our skill set that we have across the group, I think we have amazing rugby players that can do that. They just need to be aware that they can, and then just
Give them the permission.
Yeah, just go. Yeah.
And so you are playing for Canada, the second best team in the world. I mean, obviously, just such an entertaining team of girls to watch play. I love watching you guys. I love how much you guys have to put in order to play for your country.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not doing it because it's easy. You're doing it because you're obviously absolutely besotted with it, because there's no other way of justifying the sacrifices that you guys make and the kind of hustle that you have to put in to be part of the B Leaf.
Yeah.
But you're playing for the second best team in the world. Did you at all anticipate the nomination?
No, not at all. I didn't quite understand that actually when I first got it. But then, I obviously after that you have to, I guess, take it and like.
How did you find out? Who told you?
My coach called me, and then he's also like sometimes could be a bit of an awkward man as well. So like he called me, and then we're both awkward on the phone. And
he might hear you say that. You do realize we're recording
this. Yeah,
this.
but I'm sure you'll agree because he said that out loud about me one time. So I'm saying it back. So we're both awkward basically. And he called me and just like, yeah, but I know you've been nominated for the Dream Team. I was like, oh, that's good. That's a bit weird, and then I generally didn't register what that meant. And obviously, when I registered, I was like, I was quite surprised, and I was like, this is like a beautiful, I guess, reward for, like you say, like all the sacrifices, all the hard work we put in, but like without expecting it. So it's like a very nice, surprise, I guess.
There was a video of you on the topic of awkward. Why are you opening your eyes that wide?
I don't know.
There was a video of you not shaking. I think it was clipped out and went a little viral of you not shaking Aimee Barrett-Thorne's, the referee's hand at WXV.
That must have been an accident because
it was a bit of like, are we shaking hands? Are we not?
Yeah. Again, I think maybe that's just a battle of like who's the most awkward, and I think maybe I won or she won. I don't know. I think we're both awkward. So,
do you feel like you won?
No, I think I'm the least awkward, but yeah, maybe. I don't know. I actually don't know. So I think I win the least awkward between me and Aimee Barrett. But I was like, sorry, that's my first time. I'm a rookie. I've never done a coin toss in my life.
Yeah. Oh, you'd never done a coin toss in your life?
Not really. Not an official like this with cameras and
with
and
people paying attention.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's that captaincy experience like? Does it give you more appreciation for what Poppy does?
Oh yeah, big time. But then like it was another like unexpected things. Like ahead of WXV, we had named a captain who was going to replace Sophie, right? Because Sophie obviously is injured at the moment. So Tyson was nominated for the captain for the tour. So obviously I didn't expect to be named captain for the last game, like the biggest game of the tournament, obviously. So I kind of just went with it. It was again like I'm super thankful for like these opportunities as my coaches has been like giving me, and it was stress, but like there's so little time to think about it. You just have to go with it, and that's why I try to wing the coin toss and be like seamless. But it was the opposite, I guess, at that coin toss moment. But initially, like I thought I shook her hand at first, and then after that, I didn't think that I needed to shake her hand again.
Because we're on camera now.
Yeah,
we've hit action.
Yeah. I was like, I've done this already. What
is this now? So you started playing rugby when you were 17. A friend invited you down to training, right?
Yeah, that's it. So like I was 17, so I was, I guess, later on in life, and a friend of mine just brought me to that random club back in Montreal, and I never looked back since.
And you've played in 2 Rugby World Cups since, and there's another one on the horizon.
Yeah.
And you are playing sensational rugby at the stage in your career.
Thank you.
What does the Rugby World Cup year do to you psychologically? Is every training session, is that something that's on your mind? Like, do you think about it a lot?
Yes and no. But it is definitely exciting. So I think that because the World Cup is this year, it just brings that excitement. But I think like after that last World Cup, like obviously we're working for the next World Cup, but like without thinking so much about it, if that makes sense, probably doesn't. But like, every training matters, but it doesn't change that much. For me, like I care about, I guess, what I do when I train and stuff. So I try to like give my all every training in and out, and obviously like on the back of it, like you hope that like it's gonna help you when it matters, like which is at the World Cup. So it definitely plays on your mind, but like you cannot just like solely play for that because there's so much more to play for. Like this is like I guess the World Cup is the pinnacle. So, but like
what else?
Yeah.
What else is there to play for?
everything, you know, like it's all about moments for me. So like playing at Chiefs, you know, like, it's like the experience of like learning from new people, like enjoying rugby, like purely enjoying rugby, like in a different country, in a different system, different coaching staff, you know, like, and then also like showing up, you know, like giving your best, because like now I'm involved with the uni and stuff, you know, so like I guess like showing up for them, for your teammates, for the girls, like the little girl watching or the little boys watching when you play at Sandy Park or anywhere you play, you know, like it's all about those moments, you know, like winning big games, you know, in front of a crowd, or like, you know, just taking the time to like talk to fans after, you know, like I've never really realized about that, but it's all about those moments, you know. And then obviously like my Canadian friends with me at Chiefs or when we play against each other, you know, like it's all like moments that I cherish so much, because I think it's like such a valuable experience and unique experience that I'm like super thankful to be part of and living like every day. So yeah, I don't know, I got carried away here, but
I love that. I mean, you couldn't stop her talking there. She was just on a roll. It's beautiful. No, don't blush. I love it. And these things matter off the pitch as much as on the pitch. And that's why we're here. That's the whole point of the Empower Her program. And which is why I'm so happy that we have Vodafone behind us on this, because it's so important to bridge, and you are the best person to speak to on that, to bridge that gap between your BUCS Super Rugby girls and the experience that even your other team, your championship team, has here at Exeter Uni, and making sure that we can really help project a clear beacon lit pathway for them into the elite game. Talk to me about what works for you about this project, and when you first heard about it, why you went, cool, come on down.
Yeah, I mean, I think a couple of things stand out. So we spoke for a while on the phone about what can we get from the Empower Her program, and I think we already had a couple of players supporting some of our lot. Obviously, Tess was helping out already. So when you guys mentioned that kind of mentor stuff, I thought that was immediately something that we could make use of, because, you know, it's all well and good me supporting a player like Eva, who is who Tess mentors, but actually, like, why speak to me when you could potentially speak to somebody who's had a whole different experience? So Eva, and you'll meet her in a minute, she came over from Ireland, and I had to convince her so many times to come to Exeter. Like, I think we had about 5 calls, and then she came over and I took her for coffee with her dad, and it was like, you know, come on, you have to trust in me. And she eventually came over, but coming over from Ireland to England was a really big decision for her. And Tess coming over from Canada to England was a massive decision for her as well, I'm sure. So when you guys mentioned the mentor stuff, I thought actually, like, there's an opportunity there to connect people at Chiefs who have got similar lived experiences to these uni girls, but they're kind of living in 2 separate worlds right now. And then obviously there was a couple of other people who have also kind of gained benefit from that. You know, Lilly Plowman, who again, I think you guys are going to meet in a minute. She's come back from a pretty major injury. A great kid who's got so much potential. And she reminds me so much of Dalika, who's at Chiefs, who's like proper bubbly. Again, a little bit introverted, but once you like, you know, kind of get to know each other, she's a hugely loyal person who, again, has massive work rate and is hugely driven and really passionate about playing for her country and playing for Chiefs. So I thought, again, a great opportunity to connect those guys. So it kind of excited me in that sense. And then you guys also mentioned the Vodaphone Connect stuff that you do, which is like a monitoring app kind of software. I met with Alex, who's from Vodafone, and we kind of designed a monitoring system specific to us. I think he said I decided to do it quite differently to the other unis, which, was quite intriguing. I personally feel like there's, I suppose, a little bit of a moral piece to if you're going to collect data on people, you have to also be able to do something with it. So if I'm a one-man band, or, you know, if I'm probably the only person that's been able to look at the data on a repeated basis, that it's quite a lot for me to have to then check in with potentially 50 players about all these different things coming up. So instead, we decided to do kind of like a reflection, kind of gratitude weekly review thing for our monitoring software.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so they do it on a Sunday, and half the questionnaire is about how they feel the week has gone. So a bit of a reflection piece. So like, you know, there's a bit of kind of standard S&C based things about how hard you found the last game that you played, so we can kind of track maybe a level of fatigue, how much sleep are you getting, you know, things kind of more gym based. How many lifts did you do? Is there anything in particular in the gym that you're struggling with? And then the second half of the questionnaire is about like how you're feeling about the week coming up. So have you got anything academically coming up that you're worried about? Is there something that you feel you need to see in training that's going to allow you to prepare for the game coming up? So it's kind of like a pre-post
Performance appraisal almost.
Yeah, kind of, because I think actually that allows me, who does most of the data collection, to actually do something with it. We've only started it for maybe a couple of months now, so we're still collecting a decent sum of data to try and get a kind of trend as to like maybe what level of fatigue the girls have generally across the squad in the week, what's normal for them. But I think it's been useful, and the girls, I think, find it helpful. I think we could definitely lean into it a little bit more. Like I said, we've only kind of just started it, and then Christmas hit, and again, that's kind of where everyone disappears for a block of time. But I think it's something useful, especially kind of going into knockouts towards the end of the season, where, you know, the pressure starts to build about how we can make sure the environment for the girls is exactly what they need it to be. So that's how we decided to use it. I'm not sure how other institutions did, but Alex was kind of like, oh, okay, that's really what you want to do. And I was like, well, I don't know, now you're making me second guess it. But I think it's the right way for us based on the kind of staffing infrastructure that we have. I think it allows me to actually use the data as opposed to collecting it and maybe not feeling like I know how to
put it into practice.
100%.
Love that. So for those who don't know, just for context here, this tech that you're talking about is Vodafone Connect. So it's it's an international grade performance technology platform that Vodafone developed with a sports science agency to support athletes through all of Vodafone's rugby partnerships. And it aggregates player data to monitor fitness, recovery, female health metrics, including menstrual cycle tracking, but also concussion recovery. And coaches and medical staff, basically anyone who at club level has access to this platform can really tailor it, which is amazing, and it can enhance player welfare and support the needs of the athlete. And considering last year the EmpowHER program ran with 3 unis, and we've rolled it out to 7 this year, and the fact that we've managed to really push this out, and it's the same software that the Welsh women have access to and that Scotland use, I think we're building such a fully pro, at least framework, to support women who are coming through the ranks. You did mention their names, but let's welcome to the show our mentees today, Eva Stirrett and Lilly Plowman. Please join us here. Welcome, Eva and Lilly, our new entrants to our beautiful setup here at Exeter Uni. Can you please introduce yourself and tell us what you study and what position you play?
Do you want me to go first? I'm Eva. I'm in my second year of study, and I study business and management, and I'm playing on the wing this year.
And Lilly?
I'm Lilly, and I study sociology and criminology, and I've just started a new position at front row.
Ooh.
And I'm in my first year.
A new position from where did you move?
I moved from back row.
And how is that tasting? Are you enjoying it?
It's a difficult transition, I won't lie. And I have a very deep love for back row. I enjoyed it very, very much. But I'm finding like a whole different like feel for the game now that I'm at front row, and a whole new respect for this new position and for players that play it.
And the dark arts.
Yeah. That I never had before, and I think it's turned out to what I thought was going to be not a move that I'd enjoy very much. I'm finding a love for it I didn't think I would.
Oh, that's lovely. So Dalika Menon is helping you with this transition. She's your mentor. Yeah. What's that been like? What was her advice?
She's fantastic.
Yeah.
She's been playing front row for a very long time. And sort of, it's just been nice to ask her questions that I think maybe I'm too nervous to ask when I'm in the middle of training. Because I feel like you get thrown in the deep end here, which I think is a great thing because you have to get stuck in and actually do it. But you sort of, having Dalika as my mentors allowed me to take a step back and look at the little things that I feel I need to look at and ask for advice on, you know, how to feel when it comes to dealing with a whole new perspective of how I feel I'm being viewed on a pitch now that I'm a front row and not a back row, and talking about just like lifestyle things that sort of are bothering me or I want to know about and stuff like that. It's nice.
That's interesting. So, Eva, tell us about your mentor and what you've learned so far.
Well, she sat right beside me. No,
We can pretend like she's not here. It's fine. I won't tell her what you said.
no, it's been really good, and I think for me, talking to Tess, I've spoken a lot more, kind of just more life stuff. Well, less rugby technical specifics, but a lot about kind of more that international side of it. Like obviously, you know, neither of us are from the UK, and a lot about hearing Tess's story and her kind of pathway into the PWR has been really interesting and kind of insightful for me, because I mean, to be honest, before I moved, I knew very little of like the BUCS system or the PWR system. So kind of hearing a more unique story of how she's come to be here and play for Chiefs has been reassuring for me, like to know that, I mean, I know in myself that I'm in the right place, but to hear someone who's so successful in their sport also say, no, this is working for me, it can work for you too, as you go up the ranks, has been invaluable, really.
Yeah, it must feel quite validating. It's like, oh, okay, well.
Absolutely, yeah.
Alex, what's the experience been like mentoring someone on a one-on-one basis like Eva? Have you learned anything in the process?
Well, yeah, a few things, you know, like just how she says weird things. I'm obviously French, but she's Irish as well. Like she says like they don't have a pick on them or something like that. So like I was like, what? But I've like every other day, like I'm also like, I'm not sure what she says, you know, because it's my second language.
What does it mean?
It means, if I was to say they don't have a pick on them, it means like they're really lean. Like I might say it about someone who's like really fast or like slim.
Okay, cool.
Like Tess.
Like
Cool,
yeah,
cool.
like
Yeah,
Tess.
Doesn't have a pick on them.
Yeah. So you don't have a pick on you.
Apparently.
That's
Just
a good
pure
thing.
muscle.
Yeah. She's just so lean. Any other learnings?
I don't know. Maybe from her, because I'm a bit weird as well. Like I'm a bit French, so maybe she learned some stuff. But
any cultural exchange moments where?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't have a hard time
She's just
understanding
being
you
nice.
at all, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Poppy, have you learned anything in the process? Like, is there anything in this EmpowHER process that you've been like, oh, this is actually really interesting?
I suppose it's interesting to see how each of the mentors has like taken it on board. So like I feel like Flo Robinson, who is a mentor for Caitlin, who's one of our scrum halves, she's quite like laid back, quite like informal. Like, obviously, you know, there's boundaries and professionalism there, but she's quite chill about it. Whereas I feel like maybe Dalika and Tess are a bit more like, this is what we're doing, we're having these conversations, you know. That's the sense I get. I might be wrong.
Setting an agenda.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
I just think it's like really funny how the first time we actually met to organise like the mentors, they all had to like go off and have a 15-minute conversation with their mentor, and the only mentor that didn't actually turn up on the call was Tess. So like all of them are there, and I'm like texting Tess like under the table, like, Tess, like I don't know where you are, but like everyone's on this call bar you. Then Tess has the audacity to turn up on the call in full Red Roses kit that she clearly got gifted. Oh, she didn't get gifted. I'd imagine that Sarah got gifted. So she's in like dressed like a red rose, which I was like, I don't know why you're wearing that.
Yeah.
And then poor Eva, who's the only one without her mentor there, whilst everyone else is like going off, like laughing with their mentor.
Yeah.
She's like waiting for Tess.
Yeah.
So I take her up to the office. This is Eva, and I'm like, just FaceTime her, just straight up call her right now. And she's like, what do you mean? Like she might not be around. And I was like, I don't care. Just call her straight away. So she FaceTimes her, and Tess literally is like, as you can imagine, like, oh, like, yeah. Hey, like I'm here. I knew the call was happening in full England kit.
In full England kit?
Yeah.
I tried to hide it.
Yeah, she was like literally on the call like this. I was like, take your hand
With
down.
your hand over
Yeah.
the rose.
Covering that rose.
What have you got to say for yourself, Alex Tessier?
Oh,
All of Canada wants to know.
I know. I'm so sorry. I'll need to say I'm sorry. I meant well.
You meant well?
I guess. Yeah, no, it was actually quite funny. I was like, oh, what's this number? And anyways, I felt so bad because it did go in my junk, but then I have no excuse. I'm trying to make excuses here, but
She's been fine since.
Yeah, I totally missed the timings of things, and especially because it reminded me like probably 2 times within that day, and I was like, yeah, I'll be there. Of course, I have nothing on planning, and I'm here I was on the sofa with my only Red Roses top that I own. Probably not mine anyways.
I was going to say, talk us through you owning a Red Roses top there.
So no. I don't know why. Sometimes I like to remind myself, what I'm working for. I don't know.
What, to beat them?
The good and the bad, yeah.
Yeah.
What I need to do next, like a reminder. Yeah, I don't know.
Eva, I've heard, my sources tell me, that you have a family member who is a close listener of the show. Are we going to give her a shout out?
I do, yes. My dear mother.
What's your mom's name?
Her name is Lisa.
It's not Lou Fandango.
It's not, no. I mean, unless I know, no.
Does your mom have an Instagram account under the name Lou Fandango? Because she's always commenting on our things.
I don't think she's particularly active on Instagram.
Oh,
to
really?
be honest.
So
No.
how did she hear about us? I don't understand.
I think, to be honest, I think I probably told her about it.
Oh.
But quite a while ago.
Oh, so
and
it's
ever
your
since
fault.
then, I don't know. I send her things every now and again. I don't think she actually pays attention to them. But now she's very invested in it. So she's extremely excited about me being on it today.
What's your mom's name, sorry?
Lisa.
Lisa. We love you, Lisa. Please join us on the couch at any point if you would like to come in and tell us things about being the mother of a promising Irish player.
Oh, thank you.
So you could go anywhere. Why did you come to Exeter Uni?
That's a good question.
Poppy's
I think-
coffees with your dad?
Yes,
Yes.
that for sure. I think I was definitely considering going abroad anyway for personal and also rugby reasons.
Where in Ireland are you from?
I'm from South Ireland, so I'm from Wicklow, which is just south of Dublin.
Yeah.
Quite a small town. Just wasn't much going on. I really wanted to live away from home, and right now in Dublin, it's just not that feasible. So I was like, okay, I'll look to go abroad. And I had a PE coach who was Welsh, and I kind of said, I have no idea what unis are good for women's rugby, and he kind of named me a few, and then hopped on a call with Poppy, planned a visit over. I think I came around Easter time, so I took some time out of school. And then once we met, I was kind of like, okay, yeah, this feels right. Because I had originally also, I'd got into Edinburgh Uni and I'd been there a few times and I really liked it. But I think once I met Poppy, and I was just like, okay, no, I think this is the uni for me.
And what are your playing ambitions? What's at the top of your to-do list?
I would love to go to the Olympics. I think that is what I would want to do.
Poppy's face says she's never heard this before.
I don't think you have told me that
No,
before.
probably
Maybe I haven't
probably
asked,
not.
which is bad for me. But yeah, great. Aim for the Olympics. Go for it.
I
I'll
think lifetime goal, that would be it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Olympics.
Why not? But
you like sevens though, and you
I do.
You did well at BUCS sevens, didn't you, this year?
I really enjoyed that actually, yeah.
Why?
I think that was kind of the first time, so this was last year, in my first year, that I kind of took on a little bit more of that leadership role. And I was a little bit surprised when I saw my name as captain on that team sheet, because, that was my first season. I hadn't played a whole lot of ones. I wasn't starting every game. And then, this was my chance, and I just really enjoyed it. I think Poppy said to me afterwards, that's the first time I've seen you really, really push yourself, and I really enjoyed it. And I think that was kind of the energy that I wanted to take hold of and bring into this season. So yeah, that was that kind of defining moment for me. I was like, this is why I play rugby. I really enjoyed it. So
That's cool. Lily,
it
where
was
are you
cool.
from? Why did you end up at Exeter?
Funny story. I'm actually from Exeter. Makes it a little bit easier.
And you didn't want to run away like Miss Wicklow over there?
I had a look around. I was quite nervous about staying in Exeter. I sort of wanted to move away. That was one thing I didn't want to stay at home forever. But I think Exeter, just the closer and closer it came to making a decision, it just became more and more enticing. And Poppy sold it very well. And the subject sold it very well. And the whole uni and seeing it and the thought of actually being here I realised I didn't want to pass up an opportunity that I thought would fit me as well as it does.
And you have a coach who does Polish nails. So, I mean,
why
would you,
not?
Why
that
would
was
you
the
go
massive
there?
deciding factor.
They can't come to my house because that would be weird, but I will bring my nail kit here for
The
them.
nail kit could always come into... you've got nice light blue nails.
I know. Well, Poppy
Eva?
and I actually have the same nail kit. We use the same brand. Yeah, the My Lee. So
Let me see your work.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Did you do this?
I did them.
That's pretty good for self-painting.
Out of 10?
Self-painting.
Out of 10, maybe max of 6.
But you haven't looked at both
The
hands.
cuticles aren't pushed down enough to get a full into the nail bed, if I'm going to be really
Oh,
honest.
wow,
No, I'm
okay,
joking,
but
no.
that- okay,
They're lovely. It's
fine.
a lovely colour.
I took inspiration.
It's the same color as your hat.
I know. One of my uni kids gave me this hat
Oh.
called Hannah. She's very sweet. She said I needed the full collection because I do always wear a hat because obviously I've got no hair. And I recently shaved off my mullet in a moment of like personality stress.
Personality stress.
Yeah, like I
you
just
had a
had a
Britney
midlife
moment.
crisis. I just was like, I always struggle with my hair because I feel like I don't, like when I cut it off ages ago for like cancer research, like years and years and years ago for my good friend Clara, her dad passed away and I was like, you know, I'm going to shave my hair for you and like for your family and raise like, you know, a couple of thousands. And then actually like when I shaved my hair, I was like, do you know what? Like actually prefer having no hair. But then I grew my mullet and then I love my mullet. And then like a week ago, I just thought no. And then I just zipped it off straight up. It's really fun when you do it. Like you do feel like empowered. And then after you're like, oh dear, what did I do? And then you get called sir all the time. And then you're
Sir.
like all the time, like people are like, excuse me, sir. And I turn around and they're like,
Ooh.
I'm like, so yeah, I wear my hat to keep me warm, but I always live in a hat. So long-winded story, my student gave me a hat because she was like, I think this would look really nice on you. And I actually think it's the best hat I've got.
Oh, you're
Hence I'm
wearing
still
a nice
wearing
hat
it right
for us.
now.
Yeah. Even though we're indoors.
Either indoors.
Alex just said crazy under her breath. You couldn't hear it. She wasn't on the
Tess is
microphone.
used to that stuff with me. So.
Still, you fascinate me.
Were you surprised? Like she just goes. Zzz.
No, actually,
No.
I'm actually not surprised, but it's still crazy. But I'm not surprised because Poppy will, she'll go to the bottom of it. You know, she'll do it. If she says she's gonna do it,
Yeah,
she's gonna do it.
yeah.
You know, like so.
She's not just saying
It's
it
crazy,
for clicks.
but I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Coming from Poppy.
Yeah, I was looking at you busy coaching out there, and you didn't have a hat on. And you know, I said to Shira, I need to understand why she's got her hair so short, and it's very cold out here.
There you go, see? 'Cause
Yeah,
I've got personality issues.
I was genuinely worried, but only because I once shaved my head for a charity fundraiser thing as well when I was at uni. And the difference between having shoulder length hair and having poppy length hair is like 5 degrees Celsius. It's massive how much of the heat goes out through the lid here. It's
You
unreal.
need to get yourself. Well, you were wearing a hat today. You were wearing a Chiefs hat as well.
Yeah, no, I moved here and I figured out what the point of the hat was. I was like, oh, I get it. We do need hats, yes, in this weather. Lily, your playing ambitions now that you are cracking the front row, the dark arts, where are you going? What's at the top of your list?
I think firstly maybe just to get good at it.
Okay. Then
No.
once you are the best front rower you can be, what would you like to do with that superpower?
I think try and weasel my way into a Prem team. And then from there, I think the sky's the limit. Anything I can do, I'll give it a go. See where the wind takes me.
Lily is, I think, could push to play international rugby. She won't say that, but she's definitely, you 100%, you've got all the skills that you need and the attitude to be an international player. So, and a great front row. When I did say it to you about being a front rower, you didn't look at me best pleased.
I hated Poppy for it. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, here we go. Someone just said I hated Poppy for it. Okay, so
I've
talk us
gotten over
through
it now.
that.
I forgive and forget. But when she told me that she wanted to move me to front row, I was not happy. I was really not happy. I love back row with all my heart.
You're making me sound evil. It wasn't like that. I did it for the greater good.
No, it was a difficult transition for me because I'd just come back from injury. I'd started playing back row, started getting really good at it, got injured, and then my return to rugby was sort of the time I came to pre-season here. I wasn't happy about it, but I'm slowly getting over it.
She's coming around. She's going to see the light, and then when she gets the big call up one day, then you
She
can
best mention me.
Yeah. Well, you can say, see. Yeah. What
All along.
what happens to me happens for me. That's one of my favorite quotes. Shira is rolling her eyes. I'm not even looking in her direction. I know she's rolling her eyes. But I am such a firm believer of all of the times in my life that I've gone, I don't want this. This is not what I asked for. I don't understand. Why is this happening? It's crazy how sometimes you look back and you go, that was exactly the right thing. At the time, I just couldn't see it. So it's great. BUCS ambitions for the season. You're at top of the table. Do you want to win? Yes?
I think that's
we do.
absolutely, definitely,
Yeah.
yes.
You had that draw.
Yeah, we
Don't
had a
give
draw.
me daggers, Poppy.
We
I'm
had
just
a draw.
stating the fact.
No, actually, you're not wrong. We had a draw against Hartbury, which that was quite a challenging game. Hartbury away is always like a challenge for any team. Actually, whenever we play Hartbury, we beat them away, and then we can never seem to beat them at home. So maybe, I know, frustrating. But no, the draw was challenging for the girls. We had a pretty nasty injury at the beginning of the game to Zara. Maddie Fayanati, who plays obviously at Chiefs with us, her sister came over. And she picked up an ACL injury in the game, which I think it was literally like 90 seconds into the game, long stoppage. And I think, injuries like that do generally kind of shift the dynamic of the game. So it was really physical, probably one of the most physical games you lot have played in for a while. And then we lost to Edinburgh away, and then we lost to Loughborough away. And I think the girls know this anyway because we've had long conversations about it, but the Edinburgh game we lost because we weren't true to who we are, and not on pitch. I mean, actually more so off the pitch in the way that we support each other. So we had a pretty hearty conversation and a pretty firm conversation after that game. And then the following week we lost to Loughborough. But what I would say is that it was a much more cohesive performance, and it felt like the team was supporting one another. So it felt weirdly like a win because off the back of the Edinburgh game, it was a much more true performance of us. And they also played pretty much against a Prem Cup side. That's a typical Loughborough thing, is that their BUCS players kind of move in and out of their season, their PWR players, maybe because they've got a slightly smaller pool. And the girls played against, very, very good players who will probably push on in the Prem. And the following week, none of those players were playing. So it's one of those. But actually, I think the girls fronted up really well. It was a narrow defeat. And it was quite sweet. All the Chiefs girls were watching and texting me saying, like, tell the girls how well they did. And so although that was a frustrating loss, I think actually in the long kind of game, I think it will actually be a better thing for us because the girls know what they need to do to kind of come away with a win. So Hartbury at home next.
Rematch.
Whoop, whoop. Topsham for us. And then Durham will be obviously regarded as a walkover with them sadly leaving the league. And then we've got Cardiff Uni. So small, not so many games this side of Christmas, which allows these guys to kind of really knuckle down in the gym, kind of do a little bit more, maybe kind of low-level skills, etc., and get ourselves ready for hopefully what will be a great run of knockouts.
5 wins, 2 losses, a draw, and a 37-20 average score so far this season. I think any coach would be like, no, I'll take that. Now it's just that rematch with Hartbury. As a coach, talk to us about Coach Poppy, girls. Give us the dish the dirt there. Spill the tea.
We love her.
Well, obviously
we love her.
you're going to say that.
Yeah.
She said right there.
It will come back to me when I don't say it.
Okay. You just said you hated her.
I did. I've forgiven. I think, you were making mention to your old coach at uni sort of being regarded as Jesus, and I'd say it's actually really quite similar with us now, like God Poppy up there, and we're sort of her little... Disciples. We do whatever she tells us to.
Yeah.
That sounds awful.
In the best way.
In the best way.
I think that, and I'm sure you can back this, I think the girls have a massive amount of respect for her, and we don't do it because she tells us to. We do it because we want to do it for her. I know.
Yeah.
You'd say the exact same. And everyone in the team would say the exact same.
For sure. And I think like this player-coach relationship is probably like very unique. And I've never really had an experience like that with coaches previously. And it's a privilege to get to have a coach so also quite similar in age. Like we think as Poppy as this legend of the game, but she's not actually that much older than us. So she understands what it means to be a uni student, all the life things that you're going through at this age, but also is a role model for us to look at and see her play on the weekend. We can, drive to Sandy Park and our head coach is playing on the field. So that's also quite a nice bond to have, like to know it goes both ways. Like she supports us in our games, but we also enjoy watching her play, and it does kind of emphasize that connection that we do have to Chiefs and go like it's possible to do that. Like Poppy was in our position not too long ago, and now she's captaining that side. So it's really exciting.
I love that.
Yeah.
What's the most millennial thing she does where you're like, oh, we're actually really not the same age?
I don't know. That's good.
I am 27. That's quite old. Normally I wear like Air Max trainers, which are, you know.
I think, the black socks and the black shoes combo.
Yeah.
I'm not doing. I
I'd
did that
agree
today
with that.
specifically not for them.
Yeah.
I'm also today not wearing my black socks, but I did yesterday.
Black socks are the one. I don't
Yeah.
really know why people wear white socks.
Yeah. Are you in with this, Alex? Why are you judging me?
I'm not judging. I'm just very curious. I've never seen such socks.
They're cat socks.
They're kitty
Yeah.
cat socks.
Oh.
I like them.
Oh, yeah.
I'm all about the sock game, so I think that's nice.
Really?
Sock.
I
Yeah,
thought you
100%.
had like an ankle brace on at one point.
Yeah, me too.
Because I could only see one side, like only one ankle, and it looked like you had like a little.
So for the audio listener,
same.
my sock is white on the inside of my leg, and on the outside there is a black cat with 2 little black ears.
But you know those straps, those ankle straps,
You
like-
can get them, like,
That's not the look I'm
boots or
going
something.
to. Thanks, Alex, though. I appreciate that.
Alex is always in white socks and white, like everything's pristine white with Alex.
Also,
Yeah,
when she
yeah.
wears a red roses top. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was sparklingly
I mean, you
white
get
on the camera.
So much heat and trouble.
You should get in trouble for
I
that.
know. I deserve it.
So they talk about the role model that you are for them and the way that you lead by example. Do you, as a coach, how do you feel about emulating Jo Yapp and the journey that she's been on? Because she's gone on to coach the Australian girls, and she's clearly done so well there. Yeah. Is that someone in whose footsteps you're actively following?
Yeah, I think Jo definitely had a massive influence on my experience at uni. But I would love to coach internationally. Definitely not good enough to do that. Yeah, I spoke to Tess about I would really like to see how Kevin coaches with Canada. He came
How's your French?
awful. I had like a tutor and she thought I wasn't very nice, but I think it's because I just really was really bad and I was not very good at French, not good at languages.
Parler the vue, yeah.
No, definitely not. But I'd like to see how he coaches because they're all obsessed with Kevin. Like all the Canadians are like Kevin till they die, you know.
Yeah.
And then he came into Chiefs a couple of weeks ago, and all of them were like in awe of him.
Kevin's here.
It literally was like that. It was like, oh my God. And I think they all say that he coaches in a really specific way, and he's a bit of a one-man band as well. He likes to do it in his way. That's why he doesn't really have people helping him out. So I'd like to kind of see how he runs that and how he kind of installs a belief in the Canada lot, who, like you've already made mention to, pretty much have no support, you know, financially, et cetera, but you've still got a group of people who are willing to fight for their country, ultimately, who I think will give England a run for their money in the World Cup.
Yeah.
Like massively, which
Completely.
is proper exciting. So I want to have exposure to that at the right time. Might beg Kevin if I could watch him. Yeah, for a couple of days, you know, can I watch you, Kevin? I think he would say yes. We did
you know
chat.
people.
He would say it, yeah.
Yeah.
Would he?
Probably, yeah.
I did chat with him a little bit when he was here. Like I was like, you know, Kevin, I really like you. And he was like, okay, please can you have me help coach? But yeah, definitely I want to progress as a coach. I think my playing will probably stop soon because I don't think I can keep up playing and working, which is also, you know, it will stop at the right time. That will probably feel like a natural end. But I do want to be a coach. And I think, you know, I'm keeping my options open about what might come up, but I think I need to get a bit more exposure in, you know, people like Kevin, etc., where I can. So anyone that wants me to fill up water bottles for them and watch them coach, I'm in for it.
I mean, we did talk to Giselle Mather about this the other day. There's no woman has ever been the head coach of England. Just putting that out there. Just saying.
I don't think they'd employ me. I'm Polish, so
You're Polish.
It would be against my heritage.
Okay.
Of course.
Poland, call us.
Yeah, Poland 15s. Wherever
Here
you
we
are.
go.
I'll start the team. Maybe that's what I could do. I could start Poland. There probably is a Polish 15s team, but maybe I could, you know,
Here we go.
reach out to them. I'll do it for free.
No, Poppy. No.
I'll add it to what I do now.
No.
You shouldn't coach for free.
No, you shouldn't be doing nails full time and coaching part time. It should be the other way around.
Yeah, true point.
Yes. Thank you so much for being so generous. And the amount of emotional labor that you clearly invest in all of these women here makes me a little bit jealous because some of them now have 2 mentors. They've got Alex in her England shirt and they've got Coach Poppy.
It's my pleasure.
What an amazing place for you, Eva and Lily, to come through the ranks and amazing women to be learning from and whose footsteps you get to follow in. Thank you so much for joining us, Alex.
Thank you very much for having us.
You're not awkward. You're just an introvert. There's 2 different things.
She isn't always introverted.
Is it? Is there?
No,
is
you're
there
not.
a chatty Cathy in
You're
there?
not. Once you scratch beneath the surface, she's different.
It takes some
It
time.
just takes a year to get there.
it.
And then begging them.
Yeah.
And then eventually, out of forced peer pressure, you get there.
Yeah, I know people like this. Yeah, yeah. Oh gosh, girls, I forgot to do this. I should have done this at the start. Because you are part of the EmpowHER program, and Skazzy said stash is king, we have EmpowHER
Thank you.
hoodies. We would like to thank Vodafone for paying for these.
Thank you so much.
These are...
Thank you so much.
And we would
I
love
love
to
them.
see you tagging us when you wear them.
Thank you very
Thank you very
much.
much. We can't wait. Where is the other hoodie? Oh, you're wearing yours. Oh.
She's already got it on.
Alex is already wearing hers. She's very far ahead of this curve. We had to give her one. We didn't want her to sit here in an England shirt. It would have been awkward. And then, do you know what, Eva? I wonder if I give you a scrunchie, would you mind sharing your scrunchie with your mum?
Yeah, absolutely. She'd
There
love
we
that.
go.
Oh, thank you.
Scrunchies for everybody.
I'll post it to her.
You literally cannot buy these. Poppy, I don't know what you're going to do with your scrunchie.
Yeah.
on your wrist.
Yeah, I can wear them. I don't really wear scrunchies. I'll find it and give it to someone. I could do a giveaway.
A little giveaway. And everyone go follow Poppy Leitch now for some
I need, like,
completely
one like.
unvarnished opinions and many varnished nails. It's a great balance of content that she trots out. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been so lovely to hang out with you guys for the day. And here we go, BUCS champs.
Yeah, one game at a time.
Okay, sorry, coach. Sorry. We are the Good, the Scaz and Rugby, brought to you in partnership with Vodafone. The Good, the Scaz and Rugby is a Folding Pocket production produced by Shira Kilgallen.